Yes, WinRelay port forwarding tool.
Yes, and my voice is also clear to you.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so good afternoon to all of you. Today, me and my friend Aryan Sanandia will explain the topic WinRelay port forwarding tool. So first, let us see what is port forwarding or port redirection means. So port forwarding or redirection is simply working as receiving the data or traffic on one IP port combination and forwarding that data to the another IP port combination. So this port forwarding work as intermediary between the original client and the eventual destination. And this technique is used by hacker as well as for our own purposes like hosting our local website or application on the internet, so we can access it publicly, and also the hacker use it for the gaining access of the compromises system. So let me explain you by this example. Here you see that this is a target machine and this is an attacker machine. Now the target machine is already being somewhat compromised by the attacker, and he installed this application or a malware called pt.exe on this target machine. Now the attacker is aiming to get a remote desktop access of this target machine so that he can access all the resources of this target machine. So for getting the okay, so one second. Okay, now, so what happens is attacker requests the target machine on port 5985, which is for the remote desktop access. So this 5985 port is used for the remote desktop access. But here's the firewall in between comes. Firewall doesn't allow any inbound connection to the target machine on port 5985. It's simply blocking it. So what now attacker do? So here the port forwarding works and attacker use the port forwarding to get remote desktop access. So first the pt.exe runs on the target machine as well as on the attacker machine. Now the target machine requests the attacker machine to get connected on port 9966. Now the firewall sees that it is the outbound connection from the target machine. So firewalls doesn't seems any mischief in this, and it simply allows. So now the target and the attacker is connected on port 9966, and now the attacker simply forwards the request to this pt.exe on port for the port 5985. So this request is going to the target through pt.exe via port 9966, and this application remote internally transfers the request to port 5985 on behalf of the attacker. And here's the firewall is completely doesn't know anything about this thing, and the attacker gain access to the remote desktop application of the target. Hope this is clear to you. And now let me show you small demonstration of this thing whatever I did right now. So let me first open the command prompt. So this command prompt visible both?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so this is let's say uh, one is the target and one is the attacker. So my right side is the target and the left side is the attacker. So let first both run the application, that is pt.exe. Okay, both run this application. So now there is a connection between the target and attacker on the port 9966. Now what happens is whatever the traffic it gets target machine, it simply forward it to the port 5985, which is remote desktop. Okay, so here it is waiting, and now attacker runs this command on its machine. So what happens is via pt.exe, here is the IP address of the target machine. So in my case both is my local machine only, so I give my local machine's IP address here, and the IP address is the remote desktop port number, remote desktop application port number. So once I run this, okay, so you see that the successful connection. Okay, so now what happened is that remote desktop access is remote desktop application is now attacker can run on its machine via this port 9966 tunnel. Hope this is clear to you. Now the next is the F-pipe.
Now moving on to F-pipe. So Unix system always seem to provide the most useful network tools first. For example, data pipe, which is a little more than 100 lines of C code, but no option were available for Windows-based port redirection. F-pipe by McAfee implements port redirection techniques natively in Windows. It also adds user datagram protocol, that is UDP support, which data pipe lacks. F-pipe does not require any support dynamics links library or privileged user access. The lack of support DLSS or similar files make it easy to pick up fpipe.exe and drop it onto a system. F-pipe also adds more capabilities than datapipe in its ability to use a source port and bind to a specific interface. A port redirection tool passes TCP/IP traffic received by the tool on one port to another port to which the tool points. Aside from handling IP addresses and port numbers, port redirection is protocol ignorant, that the tool does not care whether you pass encrypted SSH traffic or plain text email through it. Now here are some of the F-pipe commands. Here question mark symbol is used to print the help text. C is maximum number of simultaneous TCP connection, that the default is 32. Here, note that this has no bearing and it doesn't make sense for UDP connection. And I command is for the IP address of the listening interface. L command is for the listening port number. R command is the remote port number. S is for the source port. U command is for UDP mode, and V command is used to print verbose connection information.
Okay, so now let's see how this command work one by one. So first example is for the local port forwarding, local port redirection. So here what happens is that whenever we ping the website like www.google.com, it's open any random high port number on our machine, and apart from the reserved port that is up to 1024, and ping and establish a connection to the Google web server port 80. Okay, so we doesn't know which high port number is actually connected on our system. So let's say we internally want to listen on port 9080 of our machine to the google.com server port 80. So we simply write this command f pipe/l9080/r80 www.google.com. So now what happens is that whatever the traffic coming from the whatever the traffic, so let me explain first this thing. This is my internal IP address of my machine 127.0.0.19080. Okay, so this forms this connected now to the Google's IP address 216.239.33.101 port 80. So if I ping this IP address 127.0.0.1 colon 9080 on my machine, I get redirected to this port 80 and this IP address which is of the Google. So I locally access the Google web page on my IP address, and the port is 9080. It is something like that. The next command is this, in which I use the source port /s80. So what happens is that sometimes there is a web server that is secured by the misconfigured firewall. Let's say misconfigured firewall allows the connection only to the port 80. This is the IP address of the web server to which I target. Okay, so this web server also has a FTP service on it, but it doesn't allow FTP connection from the outside. So what happens is that I write this command f pipe/l21/r21/s F5/S80 and 192.168.97.154. So target sees that I want to access the port 80 of this web server, but actually what happens, I redirecting internally to the port 21. So I locally access the FTP services of this web server also, which your firewall doesn't allow. So
The port is also manipulated, right?
Yes, sir. So this is how we can bypass the misconfigured firewall using the port redirection, F5. Now the next is WinRelay.
Now, what is WinRelay? Basically, WinRelay is another alternative for leveraging Windows-based port redirection. WinRelay and F5 share the same features, including the ability to define static source port for redirect traffic. Port redirection tools thrive on port hopping. Use a port redirector to create alternative ports for an established service on the localhost. Redirect requests to the localhost to an alternative server and tunnel connection through a firewall. An antivirus or anti-malware mechanism may report the WinRelay binary as malicious because it considers these tools sole purpose or to be part of an exploit kit for compromising systems.
So here is one case study, which is famously known as the port pivoting or the dual port redirection. So here what happens is these two machines are the attacker machines, and these two are the targeted machine. So first, what is A? So A is the Microsoft SQL client of the attacker. B is the Windows system of the attacker with F5 installed on it. The C is a compromised web server and with email services also. So it is email server also. And the D is the Microsoft SQL server. So the D is the main target of the attacker. So he get the database access of this web server also, because the D is basically the database server, Microsoft database server of C. So what here is the firewall in between, which allows the traffic only through port 25 and port 80. Port 25 for the SMTP services and 80 for HTTP service. Now the hacker wants to access the port is 1433, which is for the Microsoft SQL database server. Okay, so he directly doesn't get access because the firewall blocks it. So using the port forwarding technique, he get access. So what he does is, on the system B on which the F5 is installed, he write this command F5/L1433/R80 host C. So he shows that I want to connect the port 80 of the web server, but internally it listening on the port is 1433, which is for the SQL, Microsoft SQL services. Okay, Microsoft SQL server services. So now the firewall says that it is for port 80. It simply bypass the firewall and get access to the web server. Now I already say that it is somewhat compromised server. So it gives the credentials of its database, which is on the D, passwords or keys like that. So C internally always connected to the web server by port 1433. Yes. So now C is connected to the port. C is connected to the D by port 1433. Okay, but even then the B is not able to access the database directly, because it is the Windows system, not the client, Microsoft SQL client, because the server, Microsoft SQL server, is only be accessed by the clients. Microsoft SQL client must be there. So A is attacker's Microsoft SQL client, which connect to the Windows system of attacker by port 1433. And now the B is connected to the C by port 80. Okay, and C is connected to the D by port 1433. So that's how the attacker, by using the B, bypass the firewall, get access to C, and from the C get access to D, and eventually get access to the server, Microsoft SQL Server, and that's how it manipulates the database. Hope it's clear to you.
So here there is one point assumption is a C is already compromised, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Because otherwise, it doesn't get credentials to password keys of D.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, so now port forwarding used by the hackers.
Okay, now what do hackers do? Hackers use port redirection for bypassing network access controls or crossing network boundaries. For example, installing a port forwarding mechanism on a compromised host enables attack traffic to be routed through that host deeper into a network. Port forwarding is also useful for making attribution difficult. The first indicator of a hacker's location is their IP address. Often, there's the last indicator as well. Hackers to employ several redirectors to forward traffic across several systems before it reaches the intended destination. Now, moving on to benefits of port forwarding. It runs a public HTTP server within a private LAN. It permits secure cell access to a host on a private LAN from the internet. It permits FTTP access to a host to running a publicly available game server within a private LAN, and the privacy afforded by such techniques is helpful for positive social efforts like enabling journalists to protest sources, bypassing limitation on free speech, or accessing social media networks.
Okay, so now there is several benefits of also there are also several benefits of this port redirection. One of this is to host the local application. Let's say I have this machine. This is my local machine, and the local IP address is 192.168.1.9, and I made one Node.js application running locally on my system, which is on port 8080. So all the machines that are in the same LAN locally connected to the same router get access to my application by simply pinging this IP address and the port number, that is 192.168.1.9 colon 8080. So it directly access to this application. But what happens is that outside the router there is a public IP of the router which is visible on the internet. So if I want to access the application locally hosted from outside the router or outside the router, so what I have to do is I have to say the router that whatever the traffic you receive on the port 8080, you should locally forward it to the machines whose IP address is this 192.168.1.9 colon 8080. So now the public IP of the router is visible on the internet. Okay, so with another machines or the system like my phone, I pinging the IP address of the router that is publicly available 147.144.221.167 and port 8080. So when it's come to the router, it sees that it's traffic on port 8080. So it then see its rules, port forwarding rules of the router, and simply transfer the traffic on the IP address of the machine 192.168.1.9 colon 8080. So this is the router settings on which in which you have to make the changes. Go to firewall, port forwarding, and write the application name Node.js, which protocol you want to allow, TCP, UDP, port number, and the system's local IP address, and the machine's name also. Okay, after this you are allowed to access your application publicly without any hosting.
There are many ways to block the port forwarding or redirection. There is no patch to prevent the port forwarding. One way is to apply good network access control. Unlike host-specific vulnerabilities such as buffer overflows, data redirection attacks exploit the network. A strong firewall or router ACL should begin with a deny all rule. Then, ports and services are added as business purposes require. Additionally, ports should not be opened with carte blanche access. Proxy firewalls can quite effectively block port redirection attacks if they are configured to protect a specific protocol. Yes, that's it from our side. Thank you all for paying attention to our presentation.
Okay, so last point that you made, which is last slide. Go to the last slide.